for DJ Dix. After the break, Durban's DJ Roxxi lays down the beat for an entire city. Just as Durban's young Deshni governor found her passion as a DJ and started her career, everything stopped. On top of the tragedy of losing her father, she would have to shelve her DJing career to help her mother raise a single-parent family. Or would she? Here's how Deshni stood by her family and managed to become Durban's most loved woman, known as DJ Roxxi.
Throughout my whole life, I knew that music was a part of me. It was who I was. It was a part of my soul. So naturally, I just knew that after school, I had to be in the industry in one way or the other. But reality set in the fact that I knew I'm from a typical Indian background. Our community as such is that it doesn't allow for us to go and pursue careers in a music industry.
Throughout high school, I noticed that Deshni was not going to follow the normal, conventional career that Indian girls would follow. But somehow I thought this is just a passing phase and she'll get through it. And when she's in the matric year, everything will fall into place and she'll realize that this is what I need to do.
What was I going to do? Was I going to deny who I was and pursue a corporate career, or do I take the leap of faith? And I struggled a lot. And when I consulted with my dad at about 15, 16, and I told him that I'd really like to be a DJ or a music producer, he said he'd have none of it because that's not what Indian girls would do. In a matric year, something that I never thought possible would happen, my dad passed away. And in a space of a weekend, my dad was gone from my life. And my whole life just sunk there and then. Who I was, what I wanted to be, all that didn't matter anymore. All I knew was that how do I possibly even wake up the next day with somebody so influential, somebody, a part of me just gone forever. And so from that point, I managed to get myself together with the strength of my mom, who was now a single parent, for my sister, and I needed to be there for them. I completed matric and I pursued law, which is what my dad wanted me to do. But every single day that I walked in at university, I just felt that I was lying to myself. So at the end of the first year of my university, I had an emotional breakdown. I realized that I was living a lie and I couldn't sit at age 22 or later on 35, married with kids and being a lawyer. It's not who I was. So I sat down with my mom and I pleaded with her just to allow me, give me a chance to just find myself for a year.
I realized that Deshni had a mind of her own and she needed to take the courage and do what she believed that she wanted to do. And that meant pursuing her.
Because how I've changed since my dad's death, so did my mom. My mom also found herself, because if you're growing up in this typical Indian background, you kind of lose your identity. So in that year, I just researched. I researched everything, not only about just being a DJ, but the music industry as a business itself. I armed myself with this knowledge, knowing that somehow I'm going to have an opportunity, and when the opportunity arises, I'll create my own lucky break by seizing it.
Deshni approached us for a gig in the club and she sort of hounded us for a while. We didn't know her. She was a no-name in the industry and we gave her an opportunity.
I was invited to play at where I'm playing right now in Krakatoa, and weirdly so, I was invited to play Bhangra music. What Bhangra music is basically typically your Indian music from the movies, but kind of remixed with more of a house feel and very more commercial. I find that I've somehow just learned to adapt to my own style. I would take commercial tracks and remix it with these Bhangra tracks so that I'm giving people a total new experience and vibe when they're on the dance floor.
with the introduction of female DJs, it is a new thing in Durban and in the country, so a lot of people are coming to actually see what that's all about.
You can't get away from the fact that DJing is a male-dominated game, sport, career. And it's against this backdrop, it's very difficult for women to come in and assimilate what's happening in clubs.
As much as I would say my colorful DJ career has had its struggles, there have definitely been instances where I've had support from some DJs that definitely helped me. There have been times where I was literally rock bottom, thought that I couldn't survive in this industry. They definitely picked me up, lifted my spirits, and just encouraged me, saying that, you know, I'm doing a good job and I just need to focus on the actual DJing itself and not worry about whatever negativity is surrounding or flying around me.
I'm very surprised to see that she sees me as a mentor, because I look at her as being a peer. So, yes, I'll big her up for it.
Just being motivated by these people and just lifting myself up, I would definitely say has been a highlight and has been worth the whole experience of these past 4 years of my life.
To where she is now, she's come in leaps and bounds. She's actually one of our best DJs on a Bunga evening, and I think she's assisted in bringing capacity crowds to our venue.
I was fortunate enough to go over to Ibiza, Spain to DJ for a whole week with some of South Africa's top DJs. And just seeing the South Africans liaising with the Spanish people and just bringing our kwaito and our house and our Bangla music to Spain was definitely something I remember for a long time. I've learned so much in terms of playing music, of the business of DJing, because there's a whole other side to DJing that people don't know of, the music business side of it. You need to do your research. You need to make sure that the particular style of music you're playing at that club actually fits and blends well. And you definitely need to be street smart and savvy to handle your own.
But together we can be the perfect soulmates.
She's held her own, kept up with what's going on with the best of the male jocks. And she's just another jock. I mean, we don't even look at her as being a female. It's another jock who's on the scene and doing what has to be done.
Sometimes you just play a song and you hope in good faith that it will carry on playing, and halfway through you realize your song is scratched. All I can say is you've just got to smile, and that's all you can do in a situation like this. People assume that the life of a DJ is glamorous, but I would say it's far from it. Apart from the long hours and the hard work, your time is never really your own. It's kind of as if you're paid to make other people happy all the time. The fact that I'm a minority in this industry, being the only Indian female club DJ in South Africa, as well as one of the very few female DJs, has resulted in quite a bit of press and even a few awards. This was my very first article that I ever had done on me. That was when I was much younger. This was an article done on the Sunday Times, just with my experiences mixing with the top male DJs and how I cope. It was written in the light that I gave advice to young girls on how to handle themselves in such situations. This is the best article to come through, as it really reflected the emotions that I went through with my dad passing. It inspired other teenagers who've lost a parent or both their parents, and how they could deal with depression, or to even just speak up about whatever that is bugging them. This was my Standard Bank Women Achievement Award. Basically, Standard Bank has an awards that they give out to women in KZN making it in their particular field, and I was very honored because I was nominated with such esteemed, powerful women. Here I have my Cosmo Awesome Woman Award, highlighting the 30 most awesome women in South Africa. Brilliant minds, awesome women in each in their own regard.